Okay, welcome back, viewers, to another edition of Heads Up. And last week we had, the Te Steamroller just kept on rolling by with Avantage, getting the perfect run and just being too good. Goat, welcome back. And you saw the race, obviously, along with most punters would have seen that race. And as it was unfolding, what were you thinking during the race? What were you on anyway?
Well, I can tell you actually, Neil, I was on the Wellington motorway when that race was on, so I didn't see it live.
Heard it live.
Heard it live, and obviously the comment from George during the run was that it was a slow pace. Then Avantage got out into the clear and burst to them and sounded like it won pretty easily. I've watched the replay since. I mean, it was a pretty blanket sort of finish in reality. I think Rock on Wood finished about 8th or something, beaten only a couple of lengths. So,
yeah.
Full credit to Jamie Richards, though. The training performance from 1,200 metres, winning a Group 1, missed at 14, won at 16 and won at 2,000. So very good training effort. I didn't have a bet in the race, to be honest with you, Neil. Rondinella I did like, but she failed to flatter.
Yeah.
You had a bit of a sneaky on Rock on Wood, did you?
Yeah, I was hoping at least get in the first 4, but he got to a nice posse, sort of 8th out, and I was waiting for Just Amaze to press on forward and take the lead and put some tempo on the race, but it just didn't happen. And the sectionals told the story afterwards. Avantage, well, they came home in 33.26 or something off the front. The fastest last 600 metres off the front all day. But Avantage, when I broke down the sectionals, ran her 200 metre sectional from the 400 to the 200 in 10.29, which is, I'm pretty sure, is the fastest I've ever recorded there. I triple checked.
That's a good, I was going to say, that's a good horse's sectional. That's getting into the Winx and Te Akau Shark type echelon.
Definitely. And the way that 3 back in a run, getting out on the turn and just went bang and was leading 200 metres out. And that Zabeel blood kicked in and she held on. So, and Rock on Wood had to go right to the outside of all the runners, and he kept on okay, but the race wasn't run to suit, so he'll be freshened up. And next season, I'm going to travel to see him win his first Group 1 somewhere. It's got to happen. Jesus, it's like the Warriors. They've got to win a championship at some time if you live long enough. But,
exactly.
No, it was a great day. Riding the wave earlier on was a wow.
I did see that race. I did see that race. I watched that race, and you thought, what's he doing here? And then he just pulled it out with 100 metres to go, and it picked up very well and won with a bit of authority.
Yeah,
it suggests to the jockey that he gave the punters a bit of a heart attack, and he replied that he gave himself a heart attack too. But no, that horse has got a lot of upside. And for those people who are listening or watching this podcast and watched last week's but didn't subscribe, that was the horse we touched on last week, Neil, as being a good thing that you were very bullish on. $4 you could have got at that time, came in shorter than that. So well done. You'll be counting the cash still, I'm picking.
We got stuck into him. A lot of subscribers did too, and had him in multis. And anyway, it was the tempo worked out nicely for him. It was a good ride actually. Got out, got the trail, got a bit keen, but got out just in time and too big, too strong. It's great. Right, now we've got a big race tomorrow, the Trentham Oaks, and I've been to a few there. You've been to a few, but gee, Jennifer Eccles, she's what, $2.15 on Wednesday afternoon into $1.90 now. Is that value?
Yeah, what, $1.95? Not for me. Not with that draw. I think she's been most impressive in her. Probably the 2 runs you'd say she was most impressive in at Te Rapa and Hastings. Yeah. She's settled reasonably handy. She's going to, I'm picking they'll go back, don't you think?
Oh, they'd have to go
on
back.
That draw?
Yeah, no, if they go forward, she'd have to work a bit hard and could get a bit keen, but she did race keenly at Hastings. And although she won well, the query for me is, yes, she's won her 2 races easily, but they've been in slow times, getting good horses naturally. But as we saw on the Derby, when they go out along a decent clip, they can be found out in that last 200 metres. So I think it's going to be open to a well-bred staying filly, and that the horse or the filly that ticks all the boxes for me is number 4, Communique. But,
Communique, Redwood filly
yep,
out of his Beale mare from memory.
spot on. Yep.
There's a bit
And
of stained blood pumping through those veins, and good win last time at Ellerslie. You think this extra 300 metres won't be a disadvantage to her based on her career to date? She's always been finding the line, hasn't she?
yeah, no, and her closing sectionals behind Dragon's Leap when he won. I think it was the Avondale Guineas. She had the second best closing sectionals. Then she won next start at Ellerslie, ridden back in a bit of a sprint home. Bred to stay. I just think if Jennifer Eccles does things wrong or things happen to her, she's definitely the one to be on. I think Craig Grill's one of my, good jockey.
Go on, say it.
No,
Say it.
No, I love to see him win. He's a good guy. I like the guy. It's just sometimes, you're on, he makes the wrong decision, but like all of us, we'll make mistakes. So it's hopefully he can put things right here, right for us tomorrow. So I'll be cheering for him.
If he wins the Group 1 tomorrow for you on Communique,
Yep.
I don't want you ever to text me again complaining about a Craig Grill's ride, okay?
Promise.
This is his redemption.
It is, yeah. Redemption Day. Yeah.
Redemption Day for one C Grills, I'm sure. It will be water off a duck's back to him. One for a bit of value to throw into your multiples. I quite like Bergamont, number 5, the one below Communique, drawn 1. Probably a slightly impatient ride. Last start will get smothered away on the fence. I think it will stay the distance as well, trained by the Masters. So that's one that I'd suggest to the viewers as a bit of value. And I know our good friend, Mr. Kneebone, the Cambridge Track Spy, is quite keen on it as well.
Definite chance for a place, I feel, because last year we were on Sentimental Miss, and what helped her was the inside draw. Just sat back, I think 3-4 back on the fence, got out, came through on the inside, and that was the winning of the race. Didn't cover any extra ground. So that one barrier draw, even though it's over 2-4, can save 2, 3 or 4 lengths. So, yep. It'll be tough. Big fields at Trentham tomorrow. Well, not big fields, but really good fields. We've got Levante early on. She'll get back. I wouldn't suggest backing her until you can see how the patterns are going. If they're all off the pace, off the front, which they have been there in the last 2 or 3 meetings, it'll make things tough for her with that thing of Tiakau's up near the pace.
Star of Bombay.
Yeah, been set for that race too. So, and good, tough. She puts her head out and tries really hard.
Impressive last win too.
Yep.
And the money's come.
Yep.
What we didn't touch on with Avantage is the money trail that came.
Yeah.
And the old saying, Neil, money speaks all languages. And yeah, there was definitely a clear guide based on the markets and the betting exchanges to suggest she was by far the better of the 2 Tiakau chances. And there's quite a few runners actually on Auckland Cup Day that got crunched. Packing Rockstar, he was about $3.50 into $1.90 from memory. And there was one other 2 that just slips my mind that really got crunched in. Can't think now, but
yeah, there's one
sometimes that money trail does guide the way, so to speak, to finding that winner.
Yeah. All it takes is a wee bit of information, like how the pattern of the day's going, or if you know a certain horse isn't going to do what it normally does. No, I won't touch on that.
I know
one
what
bit
you're
of information. People
horses that you think will lead that don't lead.
Well, if you know that's going on, well, in any race really, if you know a horse is going to be taken on, it just creates a different tempo on the race and favours one horse definitely over the other favoured horse. So, that's why racing's interesting. So many scenarios, and if you can get one up on the other, like a sports game, if you can get one up on the other team through a certain tactic, and win, it's half the fun, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Nothing else you like at Trentham tomorrow?
Oh, no, you're putting me on the spot here, Neil. I think a horse called Cinerama and the Cuttle Stakes, I think, will be very hard to beat.
Yeah, she's good mare, isn't she? But yeah, got to be tough. And I'm doing the Punters Club at Tauranga tomorrow. I've been through those fields except for one. There's a couple I like there. Subscribers will know which horse I've put out as a quality bet. And I've spoken to the trainer. And he said, I have not had this horse better. So
Gee,
look out. And
I'm
she's
going to
been
quickly log on to the website now. I haven't been on to check before
Uh,
this goes out. Before this goes live,
well.
we've got to get a.
As soon as I put it up this morning, it got crunched a wee bit. So I hope it wins.
Okay.
But
Oh.
we won't say he or she. It has got a great chance. Anyway, last week you're at the Hurricanes game. I was watching that damn game, and did we get a hard knock from the referee? 2 players sent off. Got whistle happy. What was your opinion?
Three players eventually got sent off.
3, that's right.
1 red and 2 yellows. I think, hey, those were silly. Well, the first 2 definitely just ill discipline. Can't really blame the ref, but there was a few other calls throughout the game, forward passes, guys standing on the touchline and not being called, just the rub of the green, and then the cards exacerbated the whole situation. Frustrating game to be at, Neil. I think I've jinxed the Hurricanes. The last 2 times I've been to watch them, they've got basically thrashed as quite short favourites, so we will not go back for at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
So no good there. Sorry, punters. But
we will. What are we on to this weekend?
Shall we redeem ourselves?
Too right.
We'll go. The main bet of the weekend. We'll give that out first. Tomorrow night, 7:30 NRL round 1. South Sydney taking on Cronulla. I don't think Cronulla will be much shakes this year. I think they'll struggle. I think the Rabbits have recruited well. And with Bennett in charge, I think they'll come out of the blocks firing in round 1 and cover the 5.5 point start against the Sharkies. So that's South Sydney minus 5.5, $1.90. But I will say, we will get this up in time. I think the Hurricanes could come out and beat the Chiefs tonight at a price. Just a gut feel I've got on that one. But main bet is the Rabbits to cover the start. You'll be all excited, Neil. 5 o'clock. Your beloved Vodafone Warriors having their first hit out.
Yep. I had you lined up.
You're all excited.
I was going to have you a little knock.
Who's there?
The
who?
The Warriors are back. Shit. What did we do? Why the hell did we do it? Anyway, I think we're all going in with thoughts of the wooden spoon, and anything they can do on top of that has got to be a plus. So who knows? Yeah. But going on the warm-up games.
No, don't worry about the warm-up games. They
like jump outs, aren't they? I suppose.
Well, yes and no, but no, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Shall we move on to a happier subject and a chance to let one of our very clever subscribers or listeners who were clever enough to know the answer to last week's question, which was what was the distance between second and third in the race of the century? The Cox Plate, Bone Crusher won, Waverley Star second, the Filbert completed the New Zealand trifecta, and there was 3 lengths between second and third, and I think we had probably one of our better responses to that question, Neil. 11 correct answers.
11 correct answers, all numbered 1 to 11. Give me a number between 1 and 11, and I'll win that $20 multi.
This is tough. I'll go with the Blue Rug, number 4.
Number 4. Poss, a long-time subscriber. Circle that.
I assume Poss is a bloke.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we've had his name out of the hat, so well done, Poss.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, he's enjoys his punting and enjoys his racing, so I'll be in touch, Poss, and we'll try and get a multi up. We're due for one. Crikey, Dick, we came close last week with Rock on Wood, but just couldn't quite get the job done. So, right.
This week's question,
yes. Give it to us. Multi?
Okay. Yeah, well, it sounds like the multi-choices are quite popular. So this is a odd one out. So given what's tomorrow, etc., that's the clue. Which of these horses is the odd one out? If you think, so the 3 horses are Zarella, Keep the Peace, and Artistic. So if you think it's Zarella, just text in that name. If you think Keep the Peace, or if you think Artistic, text or email your answer to Neil. It's not a trick question anyway. It's pretty obvious. So get those answers in by Monday night, and you could be a winner next week.
Yep, 027 352 6402 or formpro@formpro.co.nz. Or like someone did last week, I put this video up on Twitter and just do a reply with your answer down below and we'll put you in the draw for the $20 multi-bet next week.
Good to see the CEO of Ellerslie watching the podcast, Neil.
Yeah, Paul Wilcox. Hey, he loves his
Mr.
racing
Wilcox,
too. Yeah.
hope you're well. Good to have you on board, mate.
Saw him on trackside on Saturday, wasn't it? He was on top of a horse.
That's right, yeah.
He was going to have a race with Noel Harris, I think, wasn't he? Didn't like his chances against them, but you never know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Bouquets and brickbats, I think. Yep. I'd like to give a bouquet to start off, if I can, Neil,
where you going?
To a pretty unassuming couple who really hit pay dirt on Saturday, and I refer to Anthony and Sarah Fuller with their horse Roger That.
Right.
Great to see I guess they won't mind being called battlers of the industry, get a big prize, and yeah, great publicity for them, the Tauranga region and the horse. So you'll probably catch up with Anthony tomorrow on track, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try and get a photo with him too. So that was fantastic to see, and what a thrill it must be to see your horse out in front with 200 metres to go in a Group 1 Auckland Cup and see it hang on like that, paying $40. I'll ask him if he backed that too. See what he says.
I don't think he's much of a bettor, to be honest, but he might have had a lazy 5 each way. You never know. But isn't it funny though how it was one of the 3 horses scratched after the first running of the City of Auckland Cup with the barrier incident there. How fate played its way that, you know, if that race had been run, would have it still won the Auckland Cup? Who knows? But good to see them get their just rewards, and sometimes in life, patience is a virtue. And after that disappointment on the 1st of January, they probably thought this 2020 years are going to be a bummer for us. Yeah. And some 2 and a bit months later, look at that, their biggest thrill in racing, I'm sure. And so well done to the team there. Real good people, the Fullers.
Yeah, that's terrific. I'll get a photo tomorrow at the races. Now,
You've got a bouquet?
Yeah, definitely one for Monday, actually, with I think Paul Freeman's have been behind this for the Palmerston North Greyhound Commentators Day, where they get on all the commentators from around the country and in Australia too. I think a female Greyhound commentator from Healesville, is she coming out?
Victoria Shaw, she will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe we'll have a New Zealand female commentator on the day as well. I don't know if that's been widely publicised, but I believe Philippa Morris will be calling a race as well. So
terrific. Yeah.
A follow-up to, I think, last Monday from memory was International Women's Day. So continuing on that theme. So looking forward to being on track and interacting with the crew there. So, and looking forward, Neil, to hearing your successful punting story as you round up the pick 6 that day. It was 25,000, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm picking to go higher than that too, because David Archibald's doing the selecting and the betting for it. It's going to all on course once he gets the funds, and I'm picking to go to 30,000-40,000, maybe at least. Quite a few.
And we might have about 2,000 in the syndicate. Do you think by then, give or take?
Probably close to that. Yeah, around about that. So I'll have a good crack and see how we go. And yeah, just interesting before we finish off with the Corona, with I'll say the Melbourne tomorrow, the cricket, they're going to probably play the game without the audience there. So they've had a lot more cases than we have had over here, obviously. So if we can keep it down to a handful of cases here, it's got to be a plus for our country, doesn't it, compared to other countries?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably the time when we quite enjoy our isolation to the rest of the world in some respects. But yeah, I'm standing by my comments. I think it was last week. I still think it's a big overreaction by and large, but probably, you know, our podcast might get shut down by this time next week due to coronavirus, Neil. But hey, you know what? If you're living in New Zealand, if you didn't have any access to the news, would your life be any different? If you didn't even know coronavirus existed and you just carried on your normal daily routine, your life would not be any different. So why are we all worried and buying toilet paper and doing all that sort of stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts on it, Neil.
Yeah, it's all getting it into perspective, isn't it, really? So I think if we can keep it to a handful and contain it, I think the time of year helps as well, where it's not winter.
Yeah, winter in the
Get over
Northern Hemisphere probably doesn't help.
And I was thinking if it did get here and got hold, industry like the greyhound racing would thrive, I reckon, because if we could, you aren't involved in, a lot of people aren't involved in getting the greyhounds to the track, and you just need a skeleton staff on course. Greyhounds could be something that could prove quite popular with punters. Well, I think gallops meetings may be called off. That will be interesting.
Don't even start down that line, Neil. We're not going to have any meetings called off. It's all going to disappear in about a month's time, and by the end of the year, we'll go, oh, yeah, coronavirus. Oh, yeah, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, hopefully you're right. A couple of months we'll know anyway. But yeah, the share market's crashing. Probably a good time to buy some shares, isn't it, really?
Exactly. The sheep mentality. People are sheep by and large. That's what I tell my kids. Don't be a sheep. Go against the flow.
Yep.
So, exactly. As everyone's selling out and the share prices are dropping, this is time to buy in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, well, hopefully we're right. And all the money we make off the horses on Saturday, we can buy a few thousand shares and something. Anyway. Rightio, you're going to the races tomorrow?
Not sure at this stage. Still thinking about it. Got a busy week. Yeah, it is good fields at Trentham. We'll definitely be at the Dogs on Monday. It'll be good to see old Mr. Archibald there. We'll catch up with him. And then tell you what, Neil, we might have to do a live video podcast at Tauranga next Friday. I will be up on Friday.
Okay, we could try and do that. Why not? Good to be live rather than dead. So, yeah, give it a crack. Yeah.
Assuming that coronavirus hasn't got either of us.
We'll see. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody, and good punting.